Are you hitting play? All right. Steve got a pool. I'm going to try to squeeze all this into 60 seconds, but if I don't squeeze it all into 60 seconds, I can assure you I'm going to upload this video to my long videos, the ones that only get 40 to 50 people that actually watch a single video, which is odd to me that I can have so many subscribers, but yet nobody watches the long videos. So anyway, y'all know Carrot Top from Las Vegas, I think, right? So we got a bucket of props. We have our first prop is our measuring bucket that needs some work because our bolt's a little loose here, but this is the bolt that the bucket that we use. And I just got some stuff in here that I'm just gonna we're gonna kind of make a video and talk about, you know, what's what. Oh, there's a screw. We're gonna need that for later in the video. And I don't want to throw those. We got some knives. We got some plugs. We got some screwdrivers. So anyway, and we got another screw. So I guess real quick, the first thing that I want to explain is the difference in screws. So typically, this would be a return faceplate screw. And when I mean faceplate, I mean one of these Hayward return faceplates here. This would be, it has a tapered edge so it fits in there. And this screw here is a Pentair light screw. So I just want you to see the difference in threads. You can see that these threads are a little bit bigger. So that's how you can tell the difference between a Pentair light screw and a return faceplate screw. So let's see. So I guess the first thing that we'll talk about will be the Goo Gone and the Goof Off. Okay. Luckily, I was in the shop on Saturday, and we had a little confusion as to what we should be using to clean tape residue off a liner. And luckily, I was there to stop this from happening by one of our service techs. He had on his slip to go to the job with Goof Off and to take some tape residue. Luckily, I was there, and you know, I was able to let's see if we can get this open. Actually, luckily, I was there to correct them that what they wanted to use was Goo Gone. So here we have a just a simple magic eraser. We're going to cut in half, and I'm going to douse it with this Goof Off, or I'm sorry, I'm going to Goof Off, and I'm going to demonstrate what happens to the liner when you use Goof Off. Look at that. It just takes the pattern right away. Okay? Never, ever, ever use Goof Off on your liner to clean it for any reason, whether there's tape residue, gunk on it. Just never use Goof Off. You're going to regret it. And luckily, like I said, I was there at the shop to prevent that from happening. So what you want to use is Goo Gone. Goo Gone is a safe, fast-working remover, great for a variety of projects. So same step, I'm going to take some of the Goo Gone. We're going to drizzle it onto the magic eraser here. We're going to throw that back in our bucket. Now I'm going to pick a spot over here, and I'm just going to go over and over. Over and over. And as you can see, it's not smudging the finish of the vinyl. As you can see, the print, nothing happens to it. Okay? So that's the difference between Goo Gone and Goof Off. Never use Goof Off on your liner. Okay? All right. So that's that. So now we're going to put this away. And what we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate another sample of another piece of liner here. This is an eyeball for the demonstration, but so this was a job that I had to go to replace the liner. Unfortunately, what happened was, as you can see on the back of the liner here, there's a little tiny hole next to where the hole was. And basically what happened was whoever was installing the faceplate put a hole in the liner with the screwdriver. And this is what happened was this low wall, this was a low wall that was down the wall. So, you know, the person was leaning over the side of the wall, you know, and they're reaching down full all in the water. And they're, let's see, where did I do with that faceplate? So they're taking that faceplate and that screw, and they're feeling around, and they're stretching. They think they got it, and then they stick their arm right on the screw, and they're just, and what happens is they slip off and they stab the liner. Okay, so what happens is, one, you got to get your body in a nice comfortable position. You got to lean down, and when you're putting one hand on the handle, you got to have the other on the tip of the screwdriver. You got to be in full control so that there's no slipping, just as you saw right there. It's that easy. So, but now, so that's a whole nother segment in itself, and it's unfortunate that that's what happened. You can see the video that, you know, that I did a warranty liner replacement, and that was the reason why. It wasn't really a warranty liner replacement. It was because an employee put the hole in the liner, and we're trying to demonstrate how to prevent things like that from happening. So now, another thing that happened, which, believe it or not, this next bit of advice is some of the most important advice that you'll ever hear, because it can elongate into making sure that your pool is winterized properly and everything like that. So what I want to do is I want to demonstrate. As you can see, the faceplate would have been on there. I'm going to put my hand behind it. I don't know if you can see how jagged the cut is on the liner. So as you look around, you can just see that cut is just completely jagged. There's like a little piece hanging right here. Okay, so what happened was the employee finally got the faceplate on. Okay, and he took a knife that he has. It was probably all rusted like this, and it was probably one of these old Stanley 99E knives that you need a screwdriver to replace the blade, and he was in a rush or whatever the case may be. I'm just imagining, because I know and I've been there. So he took this old rusty knife, and he's just trying to make a cut, and he's reaching down, and, you know, one-handing it as far as he can. He's almost dropping in the pool, and he got it off, right? So then he goes and he screws this into it, and it's hard to screw. It's not screwing in all the way. Why is it not screwing in all the way? Well, because the cut wasn't cut out properly, and the threads were getting bound up on the vinyl in there. Not a big deal so much with the eyeballs, right? But let's say we're trying to close our pool, and we've all, you know, if you've ever closed a pool, you know, water's blowing around all over the place. You got one person over at the pump and filter blowing air, and you're trying to stick the plug in there, and you just can't get the plug to go in. You can't get the plug to turn. You know why? Because it's getting bound up on the liner. The plug is the plug. You can see the plug. There's no room, right? So this cut just wasn't done right. This is it's gonna cause a problem. The liner's gonna get chunked up in the threads of the plug, and you're not gonna get a good seal. One important thing to look for is if these faceplates are cracked. If these faceplates are cracked, they should be replaced. But, you know, so that way everything is compressing. And another thing is with these O-rings, you know, these O-rings have a purpose. Don't, you know, when you're wrapping the Teflon, just take the plug off for a minute, wrap your threads, you know what I mean, around, and make sure you're going in the direction so that when you're tightening your Teflon, this one actually, I don't think was done properly, but you go over the top. So when you're tightening, that Teflon tightens itself onto the plug, right? So you put that on. This O-ring has a purpose. If you see it all cracked up and everything like that, replace it. Replace it with a new one, okay? So that's a properly prepped screw plug. So now once this is in there, you know, that would be able to go. The rubber compresses, and you get a nice tight seal on the line. I don't like putting Teflon on the O-rings themselves. I really don't like. I know a lot of people do that and they think it's okay, it's worked for you, but it creates just enough of a gap that water can still seep through. Okay, so now back to the cutout. What should we have done? Let's demonstrate what we should have done. Okay, what we should have done is we should have taken our new utility blades, and we should have taken out a brand new one. You can even take a couple out. I'll demonstrate why we're going to take a couple out in a minute. We'll put those back in. Now, I don't really have the right screwdriver, but I have something that will work. We take, this is why it takes so long. This is why you didn't want to, this is why that person didn't want to do it that day. Okay. But it's unfortunate because we didn't do it, we ended up putting a hole in the liner. So we'll just put that in the garbage. We'll take our new blade. We'll seat it in the thing. Make sure it's seated. See, this is why these ones are a little bit of a pain in the butt. You can see why. All right, so seated in there properly. Bring this back in. You can retract it. Put your screw in. Now this took a while to do, right? To change that blade. Well, there's a solution to that too. Okay, everything has a solution. Every problem has a solution. Here's the solution. We replace this Stanley knife with a different Stanley knife. The Stanley 10-499 quick change blade. Pop the old one out. Pop the new one in. Quick, right? Highly recommend this blade. You get a good handle. You can take out the old ones. You can put a new one in here. So that way, if you run into this problem again, you're ready to go. All right. So now that this is in there, so let's see how we can demonstrate this. We can try it. So we're going to kind of tighten up the liner a little bit. It's going to get a little weird, but that's how we demonstrate. Now we're pushing down, and we take our nice new knife, and we make one continuous cut around. Okay. Now that was me doing weird things, but you can see it's not the best cut in the world, but that's because the liner was stretching a little odd, so it's like an oval. But still, no jagged edges. Nice clean hole. Okay, our screw plug fits through the hole. Everything's going to work properly. So I hope all this helps. This was my Carrot Top Lowe's bucket of props. I'm Steve, got a pool. Oh yeah, don't forget, I got merch. We're plugging it. We haven't sold any. Maybe you could be the first one to go out and buy them, but that's it. Shut her down.